Hey guys, this is Nick with Ashton Drumworks, and today we're going to be taking a look at this 1970s Ludwig SUPRAPHONIC 14x5 snare drum. Now these drums are the most recorded snares in history, and along with its 14x6.5 big brother, they have made up the backbone of pop music for the past half century. But in the case of this particular drum, the shell is pretty dirty, but it has managed to avoid that trademark pitting that comes along with a lot of the Supraphonics from this era. Now another great thing that this drum has going for it is that it's 100% original, down to the tension rods, the heads, even the cord that is holding up the snare wires. That's something that you don't see very often. The biggest problem that this drum's got is that it was dropped on its strainer at one point, which means we're gonna have to straighten that out some point in our restoration process. That way, it'll be able to function properly. Aside from that though, this drum's got some good bones. There's nothing structurally wrong with it. Hopefully, we'll be able to get this Supraphonic back in the condition that it was when the original owner took it out of the plastic in 1976.
First, we gotta take it apart. Easy enough. Then we're gonna fill a bucket with water, put all the parts in, and add some Dawn dish soap. There's a lot of different opinions on how much you should add, but a good indicator for me is when the water starts to change consistency.
Now before we go putting everything in here, I want to make sure we do one thing first. Inside of every lug, there are going to be these felts, and they'll probably end up dissolving in the solution if we don't take them out. So I like to take the springs out, take the felts out, and make sure that those don't get in there. And as is the case with a lot of felts from this era, they've just dissolved without me even doing anything. So we're going to end up putting cotton balls in there to replace them.
Once it's all in there, we're gonna get it mixed up and then let it sit overnight.
Alright, so our next step is going to be take everything out of the bucket, dry it off, and then we're going to apply a metal polish. The metal polish that I like to use is called Never Dull. You can find this at most auto parts stores. Now when it comes to drying off, we're not going to go too crazy. We're not trying to get rid of rust. We just want to get the water off. So I just use a light cloth that's not too abrasive, but just absorbent enough to get the results that we're looking for. Everything came out pretty great. I would say the biggest surprise of all were the tension rods. I mean, these things, they look like they came fresh out the bag. I mean, they look awesome. The lugs were another big surprise for me. It looks like the Dawn bath pretty much knocked everything off of them. It does look like the drum shell has undergone a little bit of pitting on about 4 panels. This is something that wasn't really visible when we were looking earlier, probably because of the amount of dirt that was on it. But luckily, it's very, very minor. Now when it comes to reinstalling the butt plates in these drums, I notice that the screws tend to strip really easily. So the method that I use to kind of combat this is to use the screwdriver on the screws as kind of a placeholder, then use your wrench in the back to tighten them up. I'd recommend doing the same thing for the strainer and tone control as well. That way you can make your best effort to avoid messing up the screws. Alright guys, it is almost time to get this thing back together, back assembled, but one more thing before we do. I'm going to clean each drum head with Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, just to bring back the vibrance. Alright guys, we have wrapped up this restoration and this thing looks beautiful. The shell cleaned up incredible with that Never Dull polish. We were able to get that strainer back straight and working again. The hoops look killer now that all the rust is off. Even the heads look pretty good. And it also sounds incredible, as you can hear from the background music that's been playing through this whole video. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this project. Please make sure you're subscribed so you can keep up with all the other restoration projects that are coming your way. And please feel free to reach out. I would love to talk all things drums. See y'all next time.